common names and times for what are conceived as the four main modern periods of Western music are the Baroque period, which goes from 1600 to 1750 AD, the Classical period, which goes from 1750 to 1800 AD, the Romantic, which goes from 1800 AD or 1827 to 1900 AD, 1827 being the death of Beethoven, and the 20th century going from 1901 to 2000. First genre, Baroque. The historical setting for the Baroque period is the time of Shakespeare and Elizabeth I. Notable events include the founding of Jamestown, Virginia, and the sailing of the Mayflower towards modern-day Massachusetts. Other significant figures include Isaac Newton, Leibniz, and Galileo, who lived during this period. To those listeners unfamiliar with Baroque music, it is currently mimicked today in dark, Gothic-esque soundtracks and music. One example would be the music composed for the Castlevania video game series, as well as most dark or solemn harpsichord and organ music you may hear. The most well-renowned Baroque composer is arguably Johann Sebastian Bach, whose prelude to his second English suite is the song currently playing. It is regarded as starting with the invention of opera and ending with the death of Bach, taking it from 1600 AD to 1750. The other most prominent composer is Handel. However, there is a great roster of composers that most listeners will be familiar with who come from this period, such as Monteverdi, who wrote the first opera, Corelli, Vivaldi, and Purcell. The term Baroque comes from the term baroccio, a word meaning irregularly shaped pearl. This is the first indication that it is a highly ornamented musical genre. Indeed, the term was first used to describe the highly ornamented architectural and visual art style of the 17th century. It was later applied to music. In this time, the main features of Baroque music include an initial switch to monodic or light homophonic texture, with a texture called polyphony soon returning. For clarity, homophony refers to the playing of a melody with a harmonic accompaniment, such as a person singing with the strumming of a guitar, whereas polyphony refers to the playing of two melodic lines simultaneously, as if two people were singing different tunes at the same time. Other strong qualities include there being one affection, which is a technical term for a mood or feeling, which will exist without a piece, meaning that each piece has the same emotional feeling mostly throughout. Another key characteristic is the presence of the basso continuo, or figured bass, which is especially prominent in Dido's lament Remember Me, written by Purcell, which provides a sense of direction and purpose. There's a beginning and end, and this provides a sense of direction in the music. Continuing on with the main features, energetic rhythms drive the music forward, and the genre is confined by a constant drive to the music. Never does it truly tire, except in those pieces which are especially solemn, and this is especially true in the concerto. Additionally, melodies are often spun into flowing lines with many ornamentations. A side effect of having highly ornamented music is that it lacks a distinct identity or personality, leading to Baroque music feeling as if it lacks distinct melodies. One way to think about this is that it is hard to hum Baroque music, whereas it is easier to hum or sing tunes from the classical or romantic eras. Moreover, dynamics tend to be terraced. What this means is that dynamics were either loud or soft, with little room in between, and they would contrast the loud and the soft to great effect. The Baroque orchestra at the time was notable for improving upon the Renaissance orchestra in a number of ways so as to found the kind of orchestra we know today in the modern era. During the 17th century, string sections were perfected into their own units and could now carry melodies by themselves, whereas in the Renaissance, performances came to be performed by any instruments at hand. Now, instruments were a vital and noted part of any performance. The strings now came to form the basis of the orchestra. The harpsichord, or the organ continuo, was, with the string section, a constant feature of this new orchestra. Continuo tended to be played in such a way that the whole composition was held together by its continual presence. Other units of sound, so to speak, included flute sections, oboe sections, bassoons, and occasionally trumpets. Orchestral Baroque music tended to utilize this by contrasting the differing timbres of these sections. Terrace dynamics, as mentioned before, would contrast loud and soft. However, in addition, contrasts such as bright ribbons of, say, 2 oboes and 2 trumpets would be written against, say, a backdrop of strings. Blocks of sound were used for contrast as well. For example, a passage may be written for the winds, then another for the strings, and then the two combined. To conclude, regarding the forms and types, the main forms used were binary, rondo, ternary, including the capo aria, variations including ground bass, chaconne, passagelia, and fugue, and the ritornello. Regarding the main types of music, there was the chorale, oratorio, cantata, the beginning of opera, recitative and aria, which are components within opera, Italian overture, French overture, toccata, prelude, choral prelude, the dance suite, to include a number of dances, usually around 5, sonata da chiesa, concerto grosso, and solo concerto. These are forms and types of music for which I will either reference or provide a video of in the future. This is simply a referencing guide.